Alright, this is going to be our 2A executes that I'm going to go over really quickly, or as quick as I can. The first one is going to be basic smokes, right? Everyone knows how to throw these. Land, jungle, stair, and CT, and those are supported with 4 Molotovs, thrown like so. The stair Molotov can be thrown from, if you just stand right here, go from this white thing up, just like that. I did not mean to touch forward, just like this. It can be thrown. That spreads like all the way back into that corner. The one for the bench swing can just be lobbed like this, or just like that, right? Pretty simple. And then the one that lands under balcony can be thrown by lining up with this tile right here, so you can't be seen from sight. And then there's like this vertical crack and this horizontal crack that meets it right there. And we just want to look like kind of right around there, and then just step forward and throw. And you can see that bounces down and lands under balcony. The player up here can be either the opper or just a rifle. When they throw this on this execute, their job is just to hold for the bench push. So they don't need to swing towards sight necessarily until players like get out. So until like the entry frag comes out and clears under balc, which will be mollied, so the guy's going to be swinging. So the first 2 players are most likely, since no one's pushing bench and any sandwich player is already, made contact as the entry comes up, the sandwich player is going to swing out. So this is clear. Bench is going to be clear because it's going to be mollied off and then smoked. So the odds of someone pushing through are pretty limited. So their fight is towards sight and then immediately checking for someone swinging and then pushing up towards default here. And they're supported by the second fragger, which would probably be the guy throwing the jungle smoke right here. Right, normally you throw your jungle smoke from there. So entry fragger is stationed here. Second player in, comes up, pushes out. They both take sight. Second 2 players comes up. Ideal plant spot is front default here, or the side of triple, and then the back of triple, and then lastly default right here, which is kind of like a crap spot to plant. When we have like all these smokes. Typically, like, people aren't going to be pushing through these smokes. They're probably going to be throwing nades like towards firebox. So planning like up forward here. Here you can get spammed, which isn't the best, but planning here, normally people don't spam that. So this is probably our best plant spot. And then after plant, we want to leave one guy in palace. He's still going to be up in palace. Someone can go under balcony here. Someone then firebox or on site or something, and then the other 2 players like sandwich and ramp. But we just want like a spread out, since we don't really get that much control with this strat. We just get the site. We don't get like CT or jungle control or something. We want to stay kind of spread out, but like ready to trade each other. So if one person goes down, right, so like if someone's playing sandwich and the other guy is playing firebox, if sandwich dies, then firebox needs to swing. Or if like sandwich dies from a guy coming over stair, then like that's like palace, right? Needs to check that. So we just need to be ready to like counter those. So I think everyone kind of understands, like, I don't need to walk through what each person's individual role is. We can also have a lurk top mid here. If the opper would rather go top mid and then play like, picking off the cat players, or just like a rifle lurk would also work, because we only need 4 people to execute this strat onto A. The other option for our A execute would be our deep A smokes. So the top connector one will be thrown from right here. So you line up like this, look right there, hold shift and walk forward, and then let go like right when you get to the end of that bit, which then it bounces down. It also doesn't always have to hit this thing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't change the output of the smoke. And then the deep jungle one is thrown from, you go to this dot, and you just look up, and we're at the third pillar. So jungle is normally thrown from here, deep jungle is thrown from here, and you go to that dot, and you just throw. So then those two smokes together look like this, which means that the stair player, if there is one, is going to be really confused, and he wants to take the fight, which a Molotov just like this will be thrown as well. So instead of the bench molly, so whatever player normally would throw normally he would throw the stair smoke and the bench molly, he now throws the connector smoke and the top stair molly. And so those three and then everything else in the site is still the same. So there's still a sandwich molly, there's still an underballot molly, and still a CT smoke. The only difference here now is that we can get control of this like weird middle area. So with this Molotov, most likely the player is either going to sit in this corner or he's going to swing thinking to fight. And now the entry is focused on clearing site by himself, and then the next two players out are focused on swinging towards stair here and fighting towards stair. Right, so entry is going to still clear the under balk swing, so the player will still swing here, and then he'll come and clear towards site. The other two players, their primary focus is clearing out this general area, right? So we're going to see, so they're going to swing into, I'll throw it one more time, these mollies, and there's most likely going to be a CT player standing right here, basically, just in the open, not knowing what's going on. He might fall back into connector, which if he does, fine, right? Now we have control of this, and we can set up some kind of a crossfire where we have one player stand here and one player here. So this guy can hold the swing from con, this guy can hold the swing jungle here, and they can both trade each other. And we can get aggressive once the smokes die. Maybe we can drop another smoke con and then take jungle control. Would be a very powerful situation. And once again, same plant spot. For that position, we want to plant right here at default, so we are planning for jungle. So those are our two A takes that we'll use. We'll also have like some splits, but for just a general A take, that's what we're gonna do. All right, I'm gonna go over what our A execute should look like. It's based off of NIP's A execute versus Astralis and the Challenger stage at the London Major. So I've got this slowed down to like half speed here so we can kind of analyze it. I'm going to speed it up just to see it set up, so we can see it set up. So we can see everyone immediately goes setting up their smokes. If I slow it down real slow here, we can see that Rez is going top mid. He's thrown a top mid smoke for himself. The rest of the squad is setting up. So Lecro, Forrest, and Dennis are all setting up smokes that are going to land on the A site. If we notice like the CTs here, if I just like pause real quick. So the CTs are in like a basic setup, right? Where Device is playing CT, Magis is under Balk. They have a window player, which is Dupree, and then Glaive is up cat, right? So it's like a normal, this is like what we see in most of our games, right? So Rez is holding Dupree and Glaive here at top mid with his lurk, which means that it's up to Magisk and Device to fight the 2v4 onto the A site, which we'll see. Dennis here is going to get like two really big frags coming out, which normally like wouldn't happen, but they'd still be traded, right? So he picks off Device running through the CT smoke, and then gets a really big pick onto Magisk. So now if we pause right here, oh, what in the world is going on? Or I'll just, this will work. So if we look right now at the execute, right? So Magisk put out the smoke that was under balcony there for him, but you can see we have our basic 3 smokes, a Molotov at bench, and there was a Molotov at sandwich. We can see that Get Right re-smokes off jungle so that no one can re-aggress. By the time that the bomb goes down, we're already in a 5v2 because Rez got a really big pick on Glaive when Glaive was pushing up mid here to try to fight him. So just granted, like that was like the perfect execution of that strategy, but with simple trades and one pick by the lurk, it basically like means that the round's over, right? We can see the Astralis just give up and they go to try to save. You can see Dupree now is in apps, just trying to save his op from all 5 Ts, trying to aggress to kill him, right? So this is like ideally what we're trying to get out of our A execute.